Hello, my name is Araceli Molina, and I want to welcome you to another episode of Journeys, a podcast here at Hrupa Adult School where we get to know our students, our staff, a little bit more. And today we have Francisco Lagos with us, which he was here before. You were here before a long time ago, Francisco.
Yep.
So I want to welcome you
Thank you.
to the podcast. Thank you for scheduling time to come, and let us know a little bit more about you. And lo vamos a hacer en español y en inglés un poquito para todos nuestros estudiantes que apenas están aprendiendo inglés. Él es Francisco Lagos, te damos la bienvenida. Gracias por estar aquí en Journeys. Y estás dando clases ahorita con nuestros estudiantes, por eso queríamos saber un poquito más de ti. También si quieren entender todo lo que hablamos en inglés, pueden oprimir el botón que dice C, que es el closed captioning, y ahí se puede traducir, okay? So I'm going to go back to English now.
Sounds good.
Okay, we'll do a little bit of Spanglish with you.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever done a Spanglish one, so
Okay.
we'll do Spanglish.
Yeah, we can play with it.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, I want to know a little bit more about you because I know that you were working here in the office. That's how we met you. You started working here with us, in the office, like I said. And then after a while, you went to another office here at the district. But then you decided to pursue your career, which is what you're doing now. And I want to know, where did you go and how did that happen?
Yeah. So, hi everyone. My name is Francisco. And so I currently teach nutrition, yoga, and EL civics here at the district. And before I used to work as a translator clerk for Hrupa Adult School, but also for Camino Real. And the reason why I got into translation was because I've always loved languages growing up. And during college, I moved to Europe to study more languages, to perfect my Spanish and learn French and learn other languages. And I just always loved languages and traveling. So after Europe, I moved back to the States and started working here. Working in this bilingual job, English, Spanish. And I did this for a while, but I was still teaching yoga at that time. And I noticed that a lot of my yoga students were injured in class. And so their doctors were telling them, okay, you need yoga classes, take yoga. But a lot of my students needed more than yoga. They needed nutritional guidance, and they needed massage therapy. So not just yoga, but they needed a little more a different holistic approach. And I was really interested in continuing to want to travel, but I'm always very curious to learn. And I love going to the source of information. So my undergrad was French studies and Spanish translation. So I was okay, let me go to France. Okay, let me go to Spain. For massage, for yoga, I was just okay, I want to learn Thai massage. Let me go to Thailand. Oh, I want to learn a little bit about Ayurvedic nutrition and Ayurvedic medicine. Let me go to India. Let me learn more about yoga. Let me go to the source. And so I spent a couple of years out there in India, Thailand, Sri Lanka, learning Thai massage, nutrition, Ayurveda, all that amazing things that I love. And I stayed there for a couple of years, and then I wanted to come back to the States because what's the point of holding the knowledge out there and just chilling out there in Asia? I want to bring it back to the States and share it with my people and share with my community. And so I did my massage training out there, and then I did my massage training here in LA as well. I think I moved back maybe 3 years ago or something.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I know that you had told me that during the pandemic, it got you over there.
Yeah.
So you were the whole time that we were here during the pandemic, you were over there.
Yeah.
Where were you at exactly?
So I was in Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka is a small island south of India and South Asia. And the pandemic was just starting in Sri Lanka. So here I am in this small island. They closed the airport, so we're pretty safe in Sri Lanka. I spoke to my parents. They're things here in California, they're okay, but some things are shutting down. If you're safe out there in Sri Lanka, then stay there. And so I stayed out there, and that's actually where I started my massage business and my yoga business. Just really working with a lot of people, teaching yoga, offering massages, and really I connected with this amazing community out there in Sri Lanka, where I was able to share my passion. And I don't know, everything was just kind of destined. I was whoop, I just ended up in Sri Lanka. Originally I was going to stay there for 2 weeks. I ended up staying there for 2 years.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was...
was that was that fun, or was it shocking, or what?
It was a little bit of everything, Sri Lanka is like probably one of the most beautiful countries that I've ever visited and ever experienced. But after a while, you kind of feel stuck in an island. And I was just like, man, I kind of want to go back to California. And like my parents got sick. A lot of people that I knew got really sick with COVID. And I was like, man, I can't really just fly out there and be with them right now. So yeah, it was kind of hard. You go through like every emotion. So yeah, it was beautiful. It was amazing. But again, it was like definitely a roller coaster because it was during some difficult situations.
Yes. I usually start off asking everyone the first question, but with you, I was like, oh, just go with the flow more.
I like that.
But, oh, I'm glad you do. So, what did you dream of being when you were a child?
When I was a kid, so my dad was a truck driver, so he would always take me on journeys with him, and I always wanted to be a driver, especially like a train conductor. I thought that was like the coolest job ever. Like you're just on a train, just exploring different places. And every time, I was like in the car with my parents, I would see a train. I just loved it. I loved train tracks. I loved any kind of train, even like the metros, like in LA and Long Beach. I just loved seeing trains, and I wanted to be a train conductor. So I was obsessed with trains. My parents would buy me trains, and I was like, yeah, train obsessed. And I think that was kind of like a foreshadowing of me traveling because I travel a lot through by train now, and Sri Lanka has a bunch of trains, and India, and yeah. So I feel like I always had that little traveling thing inside of me.
So that's where your passion for traveling came, probably.
I think so. I think from my dad.
First in a truck.
Yeah.
And then you just trains.
I just love trains. Yeah.
Yeah, and then now you're like traveling all over the world by plane too.
Yeah.
Right. So, what classes are you teaching here with us? You kind of said a little bit about what you're teaching.
Yeah.
So you're working with our English as a second language students, our ESL students,
Yeah.
and you're teaching them wellness, health and wellness.
Mhm.
And what else are you teaching them? Oh, you're doing yoga in the morning as well.
Yeah.
How do you think the students are like? Do you think the students are responding like well to your class? Do you think? I mean, I know it's a different culture too, because you don't hear of a lot of. Sometimes like people have never done any of these classes or or workouts.
Yeah, it's been really interesting because I always get butterflies right before teaching, especially like right before like a new batch of students, because I don't know how they're going to react with like material. And in terms of nutrition, like food is very cultural. So when you start talking about food, some people are like, oh, he wants to take away my food or and this and that. But I like tell my students like I'm not here to change your diet, but I'm just here to like bring some awareness as to like what is in your plate, like what are you actually eating, what vitamins are you eating, what minerals are in your food, like what's in your food. And so I like just sparking that curiosity in people's minds so they can start questioning like, hey, like this food has this food has that, and just to ask questions. It's definitely, I feel like people have become more open to it now. People have been, the students have been very receptive. They ask a lot of questions. And sometimes I'm not just like, okay, why was I nervous? Why did I have butterflies? But it's so beautiful to see them just have so many questions, and I can see like the sparks in a lot of their minds. It's like, oh, that makes sense, or I've been going through that, and then they can now see the connection between like food and their physical body, but also how food affects the mind, because food is tied into psychology as well. And that's something that's taught in Asia, but it's not really taught here in the States. But food can really affect your psychology. And in terms of yoga, man, we started out, I think we were like 3-4 students the first day, and then it was like 5, and then 7. Now we're between like 12-15 students, and they come up to me after class and like, I had this pain in my back for like 3 months, and it never went away, and I started doing yoga with you, boom, and it's gone. And I love that because you can say that, oh, yoga's good for this, yoga's good for that, but unless you practice it, you're really never going to feel it. And so I love seeing how my students are feeling the effects of the yoga practice. They're feeling better, their mind is feeling better. We've had a lot of also emotional releases there because like one of my students told me like, I've been looking for a yoga class for so long and I couldn't find one, and then your school is offering one and it's free, and it's just like, she was just so grateful, and it's just so beautiful to just like see that they have this resource, and some of them have been looking for it for a while. And then another thing is, because I also teach my classes in English and Spanish, one of the barriers for yoga for some of my students was the language. They didn't want to go to a class because it was always in English. So when they hear me teaching in English, but also teaching in Spanish, it brings them here, and I'm just like, I just love that, and I want to make yoga accessible for everyone. Like, sometimes we think like yoga's fancy or it's expensive because yeah, some gyms are very expensive for yoga, but I love that we can offer that here to our community, to our students, and just seeing the changes in like the students' physical bodies and their mind is just like they feel amazing, and I'm just like perfect, because that's what yoga is. It's not about headstands or like a six pack or no, it's not. It's about finding that balance between your mind, your body, your spirit, your energy. It's just balance.
Stretching too, huh? Stretching and
good stretching. Yeah,
good stretching. Yeah, I want to take your class, but I'm at work, so maybe we can figure something out.
Yeah, absolutely.
but it's nice. It's nice when I see them so happy, and they're all. Most of our students now in the morning are wearing like workout clothes because they're coming to their yoga
and
class.
then what's so cute is like I went to Mrs. Amaro's class today, and right in the corner there's like a bunch of yoga mats. So I walked in, so all the students like they leave their yoga mats there. And I love that because I walked in with like my computer and stuff. I'm just like, whoa, look at all these yoga mats. And I love that because like they're dedicated to it.
Yeah.
It's just, I love that.
And where can you get ESL classes? You're going to learn English and you're going to get yoga at the same time. Yeah, and you're going to get that class, that health class really sounds like, it's something that we should all look into, like, our health and stuff. So I need to take that class too. Now, another question is, what would you like or want your students to take away from your classes?
I want them to start questioning. Start asking questions, be curious. Like, okay, you're eating this, but then how is your body feeling after that? How is your mind feeling? How is your physical body feeling? Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling energetic? How's your digestion? And find that connection between your digestion, your mind, your psychology, your emotions, happiness, wellness, depression. Find that connection and see how you can connect it with your food and then exercising. And see if you notice the difference between, okay, this day I'm having, more, dark green leafy vegetables and more legumes, and this day I'm having more, fried food and something more heavy, but how does that affect your body? And so I just want them to start asking questions, just be curious and just question everything, get to know your food, develop a relationship not only just with your food, but with yourself. Get to know yourself, like what's going on with your body, like why do you have that right hip pain? Why do you have that tension along your left shoulder? And know that everything can be changed. You don't have to live in pain. You don't have to, you don't have to always be in balance, but, just boom, nutrition, some yoga, some exercise can, start balancing your body. But overall, just a little flame, just light up and ask a question.
Things that they never probably thought about before that we don't take time to, to learn.
Yeah.
What is the most important lesson that you have learned in your life? That you would say right now? I know you weren't prepared for this one.
The most important lesson in my life? I think forgiving. Yeah, like really learning to let go and really learning to forgive people. Because everyone's like on a different journey, and sometimes people take it out on you.
Journey!
Yes, absolutely.
This is perfect.
But I remember going to school and being bullied by some of my teachers. I was like, I remember in first grade, second grade, I had some really nasty teachers, and some of them would like bully me and
bully a child.
Oh yeah, they were mean, like to the point of like very like abusive, and I never knew how to speak up for myself as a kid. And then growing up, I still went through some trauma through high school and other stages in life, but I was just like, why am I holding all this resentment and like stuff, from like the past? And
that's so bad though. A little kid being bullied by, and I'm like so sorry that you have to go through that.
And I think it happens in many schools, and I think children need a voice. But one of those, I think one of the hardest lessons I've also learned is really just forgiving these people, because I think everyone goes through their trauma, and what they do to one child is probably because someone did it to them too. And so kind of just stepping out of that box. And kind of you gotta be a bigger person, and that's really hard. But just really just like, okay, letting go, forgiving, because once you start letting go, once you start forgiving, all that pain that you're holding in your body is just it's being released. Because if you hold all that stress, all that resentment, that's gonna affect you. So for me, I think one of the most important lessons is just let go, just let it flow, and just know that everything's gonna be okay. Just letting go.
That's good. And you know, they always say when we forgive, we do it. We're not helping the other person as much as we're helping ourselves, even
Yeah.
though we don't think that, but it's so
Yeah,
true.
absolutely.
Right? Yeah, because holding negative things inside of you cannot be good for us.
Yeah.
Well, that's very good. I like that because I think we could all benefit from that. But, well, my last question is who is the person that has influenced you the most and why?
My mama, she is, man, just the way she takes care of her family and then takes care of her children, her sisters, her brothers, her grandchildren, everyone around her, members from her church, everyone. She's always taking care of every single person, whether it's cooking. When I was a kid, it was always like, okay, you're sick, here's this tea. Oh, you injured yourself? Okay, let me, get some herbs for you and start, healing you through some herbs and prayer and food. And she just takes care of everyone. And she just has so much love to give to everyone. And I've even seen her, like, I'm like, sometimes I've seen people kind of like mistreat her or treat her bad, but she doesn't hold anything against them. She doesn't hold anything against them, and she still, when they ask for help for her, she still helps them. I'm just like, Mom, like, they did this. They did this.
Did you
to
forget, Mom, that they did this and this on this day?
No, and then she's just like, yeah, but like, ¿de qué sirve guardarlo todo adentro? She's like, why am I gonna hold that?
Yeah.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And she's just, I don't know, she's like the most amazing healer and nurturer that I've ever met in my life, and she just has so much love to give to everyone around her. And I think a lot of moms do in general. I think just the way moms kind of like hold the fort for a lot of people. But she's definitely been a huge, huge influence in my life.
And then I hear you say teas and herbs because it also comes from our culture to give, to do natural remedies as well.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
I love that balance between, I love modern medicine and I love our, traditional medicine too. And my mom from Honduras, always working with like herbs and like teas and, do this or take this, take that, and I just love that, because there's so many natural resources all around. So why not just combine a little bit of traditional medicine with modern medicine? And I think that's really good for balance. And so I learned a lot from her, and I was inspired a lot from her in terms of like what I'm doing now with like wellness and massaging and yoga and stuff like that.
That's so good. Because to me, it's like, I love being a mother. So to me, it's like, and a grandmother. So I'm like, oh, I love this. I love that. He's like, yes, Mom. That is so sweet. And I think that when you grow up with a nurturing mom and a loving mom, that also allows you to forgive more and to be more like, to learn to love more.
Yeah.
But even if you didn't, there's always resources out there. There's always ways to learn as adults so that we don't keep repeating the same, we don't keep repeating the same pattern. If we didn't have a good mom, if we didn't have a good dad, if we didn't have a, if somebody did mean things to us, to be able to let it go. And I like that what you're doing for our community. So thank you so much, Francisco.
Absolutely. And I would love for you to ask one question in español.
Oh, una pregunta en español. Claro que sí. What do you want to ask?
Anything, but
anything.
Just so we can.
Okay, so now you're asking me a question and I have to come up with it right now, and it's not on my card.
Haz una pregunta en español.
Una pregunta en español. ¿Qué sigue?
¿Qué
es tu plan? ¿Qué es tu plan para el futuro?
That's a good one. That's una
Oh
buena
my
pregunta.
God, I just thought about it. Genius brain, no, just play.
Creo que lo que sigue es
¿Qué sigue?
seguir.
What's next is what my question was.
Seguir creando una comunidad y seguir sembrando semillas. Tenemos que sembrar semillas y poco a poco pues regando esas semillas que crezcan, que florezcan y eso. Creo que los cerebros son como una semilla en un jardín y hay que echarle semillas a los cerebros para que sigan creciendo y creciendo. Entonces, estando en esta escuela siento que es así. Hay muchos jardines. Hay que sembrar semillas, hay que echarle agüita para que sigan creciendo y floreciendo. Entonces, comunidad, florecimiento, crecimiento, es lo que sigue. Lo que sigue es mucho crecimiento.
Me encantó tu respuesta. Ahora dila en inglés, because the people that are in English are going to be like, what did he do?
So she said, so what's next? So I was telling her that, I feel like our brain is like a garden. Our brain's like a little seed. So we have to water the brains and just allow those flowers to sprout and grow and blossom. And that's what I believe is next, just continuing to water our soil to allow our brains to grow and flourish. And growth, that's what's coming up next. Lots of growth, lots of community, and just boop, just like a plant, just growing, flourishing. That's what I see. I see a lot of brains just being watered in a lot of schools and just lots of growth. That's what I see as next.
thank you so much for being here with us.
Yeah, thank you.
It was really fun, huh?
Yeah.
This podcast is not rehearsed. It's just all about getting to know each other. That's what it's about. So thank you so much.
Thank you so
We're
much.
happy. Yay.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can take your class. Maybe we can schedule another class in the evening or something.
Let's do
But
it.
thank you to everyone for watching. Have a wonderful day. Que tengan buen día. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Gracias.